Hey guys, my name is Flor. This is my new cooking channel. I'll be making traditional Salvadorian food that my mother and sisters taught me growing up as a little girl. I hope you guys like it as I will be making it easy for you. So subscribe on my channel, share with your friends and family, and like it. Thank you so much. Guys, in this video, I will be showing you guys how to make salsa de tomate and curtido my way and my family's way. I hope you guys like it. Okay, so what we have for the curtido right here, which is basically like a coleslaw, but it's with vinegar and a lot of spices and lime that I use myself. And what I need for the curtido is a cabbage. It could be a whole one or half of it. I think I have like one that was already used, so I'm just gonna finish using it. I have a carrot, but I'm just gonna use like a fourth of the carrot because you don't need a lot. And then I have a piece of onion that I need. I like red onions, but you have the choice of using the white onion, as I have salt and I have white distilled vinegar. You can use the apple cider one too. It's up to your choice. I have cumin. I prefer my curtido with cumin. It depends on your choice. I have oregano and crushed red pepper and a lime. So I'm gonna show you step by step how do we do it. So first, we're gonna start by washing all our vegetables in the sink. So I'm just gonna There's two ways of doing the cabbage. So I have the processor right there, but if you're gonna do a lot, like for a party or a big event, I'm gonna use probably this. But since I'm just doing it for my family, I'm just gonna use it by hand. So I usually cut the ends of it, and then I do this, cut it in half. And the way that you cut cabbage to make it shredded finely, you could just start by the edge of it. I get half of it, and then I start slightly, just sliding it. As you can see, I'm shredding. I'm just gonna cut a piece of it and then put this one on the side, and I cut the ends of it already. So I'm going to peel it, just the best that you can. Doesn't have to be perfect, because since I already washed the carrot, doesn't matter. So now you have two options of shredding it. You could cut it into small, really tiny pieces, but I'm gonna shred it with my grater over here. I think just some people like it better this way. So the shredder just gonna go up and down. Just remember not to cut yourself, because it gets really close to your hand. So I'm just gonna stop right there because I'm doing a little bit of the curtido. And if you put too much carrot into it, it tastes like so kind of sweet, and I don't like that taste. You just need a little bit of it, since we're just doing like the three-fourths of the cabbage. So now I'm just gonna cut the edges of this onion, and I already washed it, as you guys saw. And I really like red onion in my curtido. And by the way, I already have boiling water over there. So I like big chunks of it. So I'm gonna throw away these pieces that I'm not gonna put on because they're the edges. I'm gonna put away this. Also, all the scraps. The onion doesn't have to be shredded finely or cut really thin. You just add it right there. Okay, so I pour maybe a saucepan and I put maybe like 3/4 of the saucepan of water to boil. A minute or two the most, because you don't want it so soft. You want it to be a little bit crunchy. I think I'm gonna put it right here for this moment, and hopefully this water gets to a boiling point. Okay guys, so the water is boiling already. I'm gonna turn off the heat. I'm just gonna pour it right here carefully. So see how it is right here? It's not covering it completely. I'm just gonna mix it a little bit. It's a really good way to disinfect your vegetables, because you never know. Sometimes other stuff could be in it, so. So I'm gonna put the tomatoes in clean water. Don't put a lot of water though, because the thicker the sauce is, the better it tastes. Let it cook about 10 minutes or so. After it starts boiling, I let it cook 10 to 12 minutes. And I flip the tomatoes just because it boils on one side, half of it, and then I flip it with a fork or tongs, whatever you have in hand, and then I flip it so it could boil on the other side. Cabbage has already been there for a minute in the hot water. I'm gonna use the clean strainer and I'm gonna pour it right here. I'm gonna retain a little bit of the water, because you need a little bit of the water to add the vinegar and the lime, just because it doesn't make it so sour. If you only put the vinegar straight to it, it tastes really sour. So I just, as you can see, it has a little bit of the water that was in the cabbage. So to start, I'm going to put 1/4 of a cup. Remember that this is not a full cabbage, it's like a 3/4. So I'm gonna put 1/4 of a cup of vinegar. And then I am gonna cut a lime, and if you have a squeezer, it'll be better. I'm gonna get a knife over here. And my cutting board, small cutting board that I have here, an extra one. So I'm cutting the lime over here. So I already put the 1/4 of a cup of the vinegar, and now I was gonna squeeze it, because usually I don't like to use the lime squeezer. I was just used to like squeezing it by my hand. So that This is 1/4 of a teaspoon of cumin. Just because I love cumin in my curtido. I love cumin in all my dishes. So you're going to see a lot of cumin on my dishes. So I'm just going to put the 1/4 of a teaspoon in that bowl. I am going to put, this is a 1/2 teaspoon, and then I'm going to put a 1/2 teaspoon of oregano to that quantity. And then chili flakes only if you like chili. You don't have to put it on. Sometimes I dice some jalapenos on it and I just pour it right there. But this time I think I want some chili flakes on it. So I'm just gonna put 1/2 of a tablespoon. It's up to your choice. Just because I like chili. And then I'm thinking I'm going to use maybe like this is 1/2 teaspoon. So I'm gonna put a 1/2 teaspoon of salt, just because I don't want it to be so salty. And then I'm gonna try it on to see if it's how I like it of saltness. Basically just mix it together. The vinegar, the lime, chili pepper, the cumin, the oregano. Just make sure you get it everywhere. And you put it to the side. So you want it to have a little bit of water with the vinegar and the lime right here. So you could have flavor on it. So I'm gonna get a dish to try it. To make sure it's the way that I like it, of salt. So just gonna grab a piece of it, then put it. It's really good, but I think it needs a little bit of salt more. So I'm gonna put another 1/2 teaspoon. So basically you're gonna put 1 teaspoonful. Because at first I put 1/2 teaspoon, so this is gonna be a whole teaspoon. I just think I needed more salt. I like my curtido to be nice and salty. Okay, I'm gonna test try it again to see if it's in my point. And it's the right measurement. Ooh, this is so good. Okay, so I have this bowl. I got this in El Salvador on my last trip. And you can cool it down before putting it in. But I'm just gonna go ahead and pour it in this bowl, this container. And I'm not gonna seal it because I'm gonna let the heat come out by itself. And since we're gonna eat dinner today, I'm just gonna leave it open like that and sit it on the table. Because my kids will just grab some tongs or a fork and then just serve it on top of their pupusas. Go. So it's been 5 minutes since I put the tomatoes to boil with the onion and garlic. So I'm gonna get some tongs and flip it to the other side so it can cook evenly. And just let it sit right there for another 5 minutes. There you go. I turn off the fire for the tomatoes because I think they're ready. As you can see, they're already like at this point that you could squeeze it and make the salsa. So I'm gonna bring the blender over here, and since it's so hot, I'm just gonna put it one by one over here. A piece of onions. Make sure you have your piece of garlic. I'm gonna put batons right here on the side, and I'm gonna finish pouring in the water that it boiled in. You see, it doesn't have a lot of water in it because you don't want it to have a lot of water. I think my blender sustains the heat really good and it won't explode. So what I do usually is just to put it. This is half a tablespoon of chicken bouillon. So this is a tablespoon, not a teaspoon, it's a tablespoon of chicken bouillon. So I'm gonna add it right here. I'm gonna add half of teaspoon. So the bouillon that I use is Maggi, but any flavor like chicken, any brand of chicken bouillon will be good. But I use this kind just because of preference. I'm gonna use half a teaspoon of cumin. Remember, I love cumin, so I'm gonna put half a teaspoon. The other one was tablespoon, but this one's a teaspoon. And then also half a teaspoon of salt. I usually keep it away from my face. You never know what's gonna happen, but this blender is really good for high temperature food. Like 45 seconds. And then carefully, I'm just gonna put the lid up so the air could come out. I'm gonna put this to the side, turn it off. So now I have the skillet over here that I boil my tomatoes. I'm gonna put it on medium heat. And then I'm just gonna put a little bit of vegetable oil. You could use olive oil or no oil at all. So that's like 1 tablespoon of oil is the way that I make my salsa. So it's heating up right now, and I don't wait till it be hot because then it's gonna explode on your face. So I'm just gonna right ahead pour it in. So you see, my sauce is not thin as water. It has the good texture of it. So that's how I like my salsa. I'm just gonna get a little spatula here, blend it with the oil. So what you wanna do is that for this salsa to boil a little bit. And you don't want it to boil a lot just because it's gonna start condensing. And I think the texture is just perfect. You see, it's not runny, it's just perfect. There. So my salsa started to boil about 30 seconds ago. So you see how it looks? It's just the right perfect way. It doesn't need a lot of boiling. I think maybe like 45 seconds to a minute of boiling. Just keep an eye on it because it could overflow if you let it by itself. Off the heat because I think it's already boiling off for my taste. My salsa is finished. So what I'm gonna do is that I'm just gonna put in a safe heat bowl as we put it on the middle of the table so my family could enjoy the salsa. So here we go, guys. We have the homemade salsa from scratch and curtido from scratch too.